Hello. That was a big sigh. Big sigh there with my energies. Boy, it is a big sigh. So, welcome everybody. And just making sure that everybody's coming on here. My name is Mary June Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and astrologer, and coming to you with the 411 of the Cosmic Highway and giving you my 2 bits on the shit that's going down. That's what I do. And just to let you know, sometimes you may not like what I say. Sometimes there can be a little bit of controversy. Sometimes I'm going to provoke the bear because I am a Scorpio, and I am a Scorpio double Cancer. And you know what? People think Cancers are sort of like passive and wishy-washy. Cancers are not wishy-washy. Remember, they're a crab. They got a hard shell and they got pinchers. They got pinchers, and a Scorpio has a tail that has a stinger on it. So so either you get pinched or stung, with the Scorpio and the Cancer. But it's all done with love. It's always done with love. So come on in. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what's happening. Let me know what your sign is. I'm always curious. I always ask people what your sign is. It sounds like a 1960s hippie. What is your sign? When I am doing that. So we have some crazy energies that are coming in right now. Of course, we always have crazy energies. Welcome to the cray of life right now. Life is crazy. I was just looking at my notes. That's what I'm doing. Had some notes here. Had notes. What did I do with my notes? Oh, who knows? Who knows? But there's a lot. I mean, the Mars is coming off that square to Neptune, so that's helpful. I mean, that's going to be, give us a little bit of a breather for sure. But there's still that square with Pluto and Venus. Now Venus, whenever she's in in Aries, like, she can get a little bit of a mouth on her and can get her into trouble. So, and then of course Pluto is wanting you to speak your mind, have your voice. He loves to be in Capricorn, plus he loves to be by himself, and that's where he is right now. He is by himself. But it's digging up information, and there's a lot of information that he's starting to dig up, and more. I mean, that's what he loves to do. He's kind of like a shit disturber, and wanting to provoke and awaken people so that they start to see their truth and see the direction that you want to rise up into. And that's really where this energy is going forth in this weekend, because it is a weekend of energies going forward. Because Aries, planting seeds. Let's plant the seeds. Let's get the seeds going. But there's a lot of people that are still like, they're frightened, they're scared, they don't want to let go. And with Eris coming in, and you have Ceres coming in, these are very powerful goddesses that saying, yeah, we got to stand up to things that you don't like in your life, right? Or things that aren't going the way that if you get a hell no, it's a hell no, and then walk away. Not a hell no and let me continue to see how the fuck I can work this out. A hell no is a hell no. You just walk away. You just don't do it. If you get a hell yes, yeah, that's what you go ahead and you embrace, and you start to do it. And with Venus even sextiling Jupiter, this is, it brings in a good day to learn something new, to study, to a bonus call for your discipline, right? So if there's anything that you want to set up and do and create, so if you want to get shit done, this is really a beautiful day, beautiful energy of pushing things forward and doing it. That's the thing. But I keep on getting that it has to come to the heart, and has to come with your heart and in your heart direction. And with this new moon is a courageous new moon, a new moon that is really having us to set forward in such beauty and greatness in our life. And this is an energy that helps us to create some uniqueness for our own selves. So this is where, when we start to tap into not only the energies, but tap into our own intuition, we start to look at what is going to bring me the balance and the peace, and allow me to come into a flow into my life, instead of me keep on waking up in the middle of the night and being anxious and overwhelmed, and trying to fix the things I can't control. And that's this energy is like a courageous one. This is a courageous energy that's coming in and saying, okay, if this is what you want to do, if this is how you want to do it, then let's take the bull by the horns and let's begin to do it. Let's begin to embrace all, this movement forward. And in doing that, you will find that then you are able to feel more at peace, feel in a place where, yeah, I'm getting things more under control. So a little shout, I'm going to do a shout out too, and just talk a little bit about Prince Philip, and condolences to the Queen and their family, and how we're slowly seeing, old dynasties moving, transitioning. This is, many people, whether you believe in the monarch or you don't believe in the monarch, are going to be mourning over this person who's been there for 99 years. He's been in our lives for a good part of it. I was just thinking the other day, and I do this sometimes. I was thinking that my grandmother, how many she was born during Queen Victoria. She lived through King Edward. She lived through King George, and she, was around for Queen Elizabeth and the reign of Queen Elizabeth. And it's quite remarkable to see, when you see this person who's been around. And sometimes it seemed like, I think, some of the things that we saw with Philip was a little bit of a jokester and a person who really didn't want to be in the limelight, but yet he was an innovator and actually wanted to make sure that the monarch was on the forefront of a lot of change, and wanting to be within that change. I think he was the one who, if it wasn't for him, I don't think the monarch would have been as popular as it is now, or as recognized as it is now. I think it would have faded away. The Queen is a Taurus. Like, her birthday is going to be coming up soon. And yes, so she moves fairly slow, where Philip is like, no, let's do this. We're going to get this done. And being that innovator within the family. So it's going to be interesting to see with the energies for the royal family, as things change. And for the Queen, because that was her rock. That was a person that was there for her. And I think when you look at that, having that stability and being married to that one person for over 70 years, and doing what she had to take on after the sudden death of her father, whether the thing is that you can say whatever you want about the monarch, that's fine. But this is looking at someone who had to step into something that they didn't even think, when they were, as a youngster, that was a part of their, what they were to do. And so given this role, given a role that you weren't expected to have, and then knowing that that is your duty and having to embrace it. And I think, in today's society, a lot of that's missing. And that's where this beautiful Aries energy is coming in. A lot of that's missing, because a lot of times we run away from what our responsibilities are and what we are needing to undertake. And Prince Philip, I think, is a fine example. I mean, he doesn't even want to be laid in state. He doesn't want to be paraded around. That's just not his thing. He was a person who, yeah, there's some controversy around him, but I think there's controversy around anybody and everybody in the limelight, and some of his decisions may have been wrong, but we learn from our mistakes and we move forward. And I think he's a fabulous grandfather than he was maybe a father, but then isn't that always the way? You're always a great grandmother and you could have been as shit as a mother, but I mean, you're raising your children to the best of your ability at that time. But that's it, is that there's responsibilities that are being given to us at this time. And many of us are walking away from it, or we turn a blind eye to it. And we don't speak out about it because we are afraid of being cut off. We are afraid of being fingers pointed at us. And I'm thinking this was, Prince Philip. I mean, here's a very highly recognized man. When he made a mistake, right? He made a joke about it. And some of the things that he said were like, can't believe he said that. But when that's the thing, is that sometimes you got to just come out and say the things that you have to say. And people aren't going to like what you have to say, or they're not going to be in agreement with what you have to say. And that is fine. And that's what you got to realize. That is fine. But with this Aries energy, as we going forward, is that there are things that need to be spoken out about. And the Aries energy is getting us to, with that sextile to Jupiter, it's like saying, yeah, we got to educate ourselves. We got to understand what it is that we need to know in moving forward. And if you're not in agreement with what it is, you can say what you need to say on that, right? Because with everything that's coming forward with us, with this woke shit and cancel culture bullshit, and I'm calling it's bullshit. I think it's stupid. Is where a lot of people are too afraid to speak out because they want to be liked by everybody. And sometimes in going forward, you're not going to get liked. People aren't going to give you the warm fuzzies all the time because of what you say, and are going to get angry with you. And that's fine. That is fine. But when you are coming from your truth, and you are coming from a place where this needs to be talked about, like the stuff in Australia, like if I found out that somebody had my son stand up to apologize to girls for the atrocities that are put on women, like what the fuck is that? Give me a fucking break. A 12-year-old boy. What the fuck does a 12-year-old boy have? Like, I am sorry. That is just wrong. Putting guilt, you want to get over the guilt. You don't want to have this 12-year-old now is going to go around. And some of that could have been very damaging to their mental well-being, because they may not have been stable to begin with. Now they're coming around with guilt. Like, did I do this? Like, and I'm going to go, okay, I'm stepping on the butt. This is where this comes in. This Aries energy comes in, and it's fire, and it's saying, you know what? You're telling me I have to blame for that? I wasn't even there. So why are you blaming me for something I was not there? That wasn't even my family that was there, but you're blaming everybody? Didn't we already talk about this before? Didn't we talk about these atrocities that have happened before, and that you want to lump everybody into one fucking melting pot and blame everybody and point the finger? That's wrong. It's wrong. That is where this Aries energy is coming in. That's where you get divide. That's where you get segregation. Because now when people say, well, all cops are bad, not all fucking cops are bad. My father was a cop. I had to tell my daughter, she goes, well, Dad, Grandpa was in RCMP. He must have taken natives out of their home. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He wasn't a part of that. But then, of course, you lump everybody because that's what you assume. And it's wrong. It's assuming that everybody, because of the color of your skin, well, you don't like those people because that's the way you are. No, that's bullshit. When we start to look at each other as beautiful human beings and look at who they are, there's some good people and then there's some really bad people. There's some people that are fucked up and then there's some people that are really cool. And when we start to get to know the person is where we start to make the change. Thing. A lot of the energies, and I know they're probably going to try and take me off of YouTube now because a lot of the energies that are coming through, a lot of the energies that are coming out for us at this time are getting us to stop and think. And if it's wrong, that we have to speak out about it. Not to a point that you're going to be a dickhead and then try and punch somebody in the face. No, but in having a conversation, yes, some people are going to get heated. And yes, it's going to get where it's like, oh, why? But you got to look at, why am I feeling that way? What is making me feel the way that's happening? And looking at, I mean, the memes that are going around, and I know there's that the trial going down in the United States. Well, we all saw it. Did you see everything? This is why we have a due process. We have to have a due process. Guilty, not guilty, I don't give a fuck. But you have to have a due process with things for information to come in. And that's what we got to go through. But when I see celebrities coming out and saying, well, just hang them, like, no, that's wrong. You're just as bad as that person. Or holding somebody where the editor, I think it was the editor to Elle, had to step down because as a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old, she was an idiot. She tweeted some shit that she didn't know anything about. But now she, as 25, is being held accountable. Like, give me a fucking break. This is where this energy is coming in. Hello, what will happen in my life? I don't know. I don't know. Some stuff is going to happen in your life. That's what's going to happen. Do you predict that there will be a lot more groups rising against the government? Groups rising against the government. There's going to be protests against it. Yes. But I think there's going to be a lot of people angry with what's going to be happening. Is there going to be more lockdowns? Yes, there's going to be more lockdowns. So things like that. But if you're talking about like rising to overthrow the government, no, people aren't going to do that. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be angry and want to protest and things along that line. Yes, that's what's going to happen. I have two police files on me now over damn masks. Oh, Nanette, you're such a bad girl. Yeah, there are. You're going to find that. You're going to find people standing up. But this is all part of the transformation and changes that are having to be made within the energies. But the thing is, the energies that are coming forward are showing you that it's a rebuilding of something new, a rebuilding of a society. And sometimes the pendulum has to swing really far to one side in order for us to see the things that do need to be changed within the world at this time. And there's so many other things that are, happening in and around the world that are needing to take a look at in more deeply. They aren't lawful due to lawyers for truth to go read it, you guys. I was granted access to the pool for an hour and a half. When we got home, the officer called my daughter in. Daughter-in-law, as time was booked under her, so instead of being failed to comply, go to Human Rights Act. I have a disability and have a mask enforcement is discrimination. It is. I mean, and of course, my daughter. This is my daughter, Olivia. Olivia, come online. Come and say hello. That's my daughter. She's pretending to be shy. She's an Aquarius with a Taurus moon. They are not shy. They pretend to be shy, but they're really not because they really like to be in the limelight and say their truth. Oh, I'm supposed to taste her drink. What did you get?
Caramel macchiato. It's water. Doesn't that taste watery?
I drink 5 shots of espresso. You got 4 pumps of vanilla in there.
Yeah, but you don't taste it.
I taste the vanilla.
I do not. That tastes watered down. So I called them. And I told them.
Well, good. We'll take it back.
Yeah, next time I go, I got a free drink. I just wanted to clarify that it's watered down.
First time to see Olivia. Always speak your truth, girl. Your Olivia is gorgeous.
Thanks.
Come back and say thank you. She's got to come.
Thanks.
She's saying thank you. So that's my daughter. It's funny. It's funny when they pretend to be shy because my kids are not shy. I think that's funny. But yeah, speak her truth. Speak her truth. Oh, she speaks her truth. Trust me, she speaks her truth. She's a very outspoken. She's an air sign, so she has all that. She has the Aquarius energy, and then with that Taurus moon. I can't remember what her rising sign was. I think her rising sign. I think it was Cancer. No, it wasn't Cancer. Can't remember what her rising sign was. I should know that with all my kids, but I forgot. Anyways, that's Mateus's mom. Yes. Yeah, that's his mom. That's his mommy. Yes. Steve says, don't give out all our information. The man who's a Scorpio Capricorn. He has a Capricorn. He's an opposite moon to me. So that's why probably things go blowing up in our house. He has to have it go this way, and I'm just like water. I just flow all over the place. Thank you. So yes, and there's Steve. And Steve, I mean, I think they for speaking their mind, they get a lot of that from their dad because their dad is one who does not. He doesn't put up with bullshit. He will speak his opinion even when you don't want it. He'll let you have it. So quite hilarious. So, but thank you for providing input. Appreciate it. And thank you for always sharing the knowledge and viewpoint and the psychic predictions. Oh, you're very welcome, Lisa. The thing is this is a time of rebuilding, really rebuilding. We're going to find that by June and July, by July and August, I think I was saying that there's going to be some more shit that's going to go down. And we are going to be, and that's going to be actually, that's about 6 months. So that's where a lot more informations are going to come about that thing in your arm. So, and Gemini, Mercury is going to be in Gemini being retrograde, and there's some other transits that are coming up in that time too. So there's going to be over the summer is going to be a crazy energies that are going to be coming in. When are you comfortable, love, to have you and Steve over for drinks and dinner? Be a riot. Well, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him and get a hold of you, Dana. It would be a riot. It's just the energies are because we are moving for a change. We are moving to bring in more awareness, but there's so much sifting that we have to go through, especially when you hear people like Meghan Markle and Oprah telling me that they're oppressed. And I'm like, how the fuck are you oppressed when you're living in $11 million houses that you have everything at a snap? And I mean, yes, I know you've worked hard for what you've gotten, but doesn't mean that you're oppressed and that how would I have oppressed you? So these are the things that are going to be coming out to the forefront, and people are going to be, you know, starting to kind of awaken. And when you awaken, that's when when you first wake up, you're kind of grumpy and you're trying to feel your way out. And that's where a lot of people are. They're trying to feel their way out, trying to feel their way around. And with the Aries energy, it's really things coming to the light and energies coming to the light. And lawsuits, and a lot of those lawsuits, case laws, so the shit doesn't ever repeat. The thing is, people, there are certain laws that are put in, whether right or wrong. We have a lot of laws that are wrong, and people putting lawsuits. It is the time and the money to do the lawsuits. A lot of people don't have the money to file the lawsuits, unfortunately. And will it stop things from repeating itself? No. When this began, and this is like to be the devil's advocate, when this began, not everybody knew what the fuck was happening. So they had to do what they thought was right. And then, yes, there might have been some underlying energy and information living Jerry Springer series, underlying energies that were coming up from it, definitely, that have been maybe suppressed, or maybe things were pushed faster to the forefront. And a lot more information was, starting to come forward. Will all of that information come forward? No. It's not. It's not. There's so much cover up with some of this, yes, but there's also a part where when things started to happen, if the government did nothing, everybody'd be pissed off. Why the fuck didn't you do anything? And the government did something, and everybody's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? So damned if you do and damned if you don't. You can look at it that way. So that's the whole thing. Look at the ice. Yeah. Sexual assaults victim. And hello, Leith. Victims there aren't after taken by police to the hospital. Yeah, I know. There's so much there. Okay. And we're hearing one side. This is why when you go to court, you get to hear two sides of a story. Yeah, there's sexual assaults. There could be sexual assaults, or there could not be sexual assaults. Were you there? Do you know? Actually, this is when, when I do my research, and I want to know from this person, and this person. I want to see the information, look more into the evidence. And, that's the thing, is that, when you go back, and she had to go back there after being taken by the police to the hospital, and hopefully those people are going to be held accountable for their actions. Are you saying everybody there is like that? Right? Everybody's there. Well, Rebel News goes on one side. I watch Rebel News, but it's not. When you're a police officer, you're told, this is what you're told as a police officer. These are the laws that are being implemented. This is what needs to be done. We have to uphold the law. Now, you signed up, you took an oath. If they didn't follow the law, if they didn't follow what would you do? If the police said, well, I don't like that law, and I don't like that law, and I'm only going to follow this law, whether you like it or not, what would you do? Wouldn't you be pissed off? Well, I'm not going to pull anybody. Let everybody go at 200 kilometers an hour. I don't care. I'm not following that law. I think it's stupid. Are they interviewing the other people that weren't victims? So, I mean, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here because there's always two sides to every story of everything that's coming out. And I think that's where, even when it comes to getting a shot or not getting a shot, do your due diligence and do your research. I've done my research. I understand what's going on, and I'm not going to put that in my body. But that's a blank statement that you're saying no one is safe at these hotels. Are you 100% sure that nobody's safe in those hotels? I'm not saying those hotels are right. I'm not saying they're wrong, but you just made a blanket statement. And that's where this energy is coming in. It's a blanket statement that's saying all Black people are oppressed. Yeah. Well, then hopefully changes are going to be made. But the thing is that you can't make a blanket statement without having total proof. Why are they setting them up? Because there's a fear factor out there. When people come into the country, like the person who came into Brazil and went to Strathmore, and now Alberta's locked down. Should he have been put into a hotel? Should he have been tested? I don't know. But people traveled outside of Alberta for whatever reason, brought this back supposedly, but they weren't tested and put into a hotel, and now we're locked down. So it's okay for somebody to come in and bring a supposedly viral disease that could kill people, and the government shouldn't do anything. You know, that's where the government comes in. So they're looking at this. Do we put down more restraints or not? What, the virus is going to go away? Maybe, maybe not. But this is where I know people get very angry. They get very upset. But this is also where it's all, you know. Yeah, and they might have a survival rate. I know it's not 99.9% survival rate, but there is a survival rate, yes, of it. But do you know what the after effects are after having COVID? And the people who have it? And getting the vaccine does what? According to a lot of the information now, it actually makes you unhuman after a point of time. So if you are unhuman, that means you don't have human rights. That's a theory that's out there. True or not true, but that's another theory that a lot of the experts are starting to say. Changing your DNA, if it changes your DNA, does that make you a human? If that doesn't, you know. And so there's so much out there. But this is it. This is where it comes in. People get angry and frustrated at somebody who's out there doing their job. And I know it's some of it might not seem right. And I get that. And that's where, yes, we do speak out. You do sign petitions. You do educate yourself. That's what we have to do. But when I feel for the police, like, okay, because it's going to come to a point. Why would a policeman want to come to your house if all you do is bullshit on them? You know, or you don't want to, you want to deregulate the police. Well, why would I want to help you? They do know human rights, but they also know what they have to enforce. Right? But they're not unlawful laws. They're laws that have been passed. That's why they're enforcing them. They might go against something that's there, but in a state of an emergency, when things are emergency, you know, that's where they have to do what they have to do. So if you want a reading, go to thegurumama.com and book in a reading. And you can book in a reading. So, and do a reading, and I can give you a reading there. So go to thegurumama.com. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take up my whole scope, and it is a subject, but I'm going to let you know, according what I see within the astrology, you can file these lawsuits and you can file all of that. Some of it will get dismissed, some of it won't. Is it going to change a lot of the government? Might change some of it, but I mean, to change the government, we have to change the whole basis of everything. So it starts at the grassroots. It starts at the grassroots. You want to make changes, it starts at the grassroots. It starts with, how are you working with your community? How are you working with one another? That's where it starts. How are you promoting more peace and love in your life and standing up in that peace and love? That's where it starts. And I sometimes agree with Rebel News. Sometimes I don't. I watch it and then I feel like I'm getting, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, now they're spreading a propaganda. I need to step away and get into my own light. And that's the whole thing. And when you stand into your own light, when you start to be truthful to who you are, and that's where the energies are coming in. Aries is saying, you want to go for it. You gotta say, if it's a hell yes, it's a hell yes. If it's a hell no, it's a hell no. If you're not feeling that, for whatever reason. And that's really the most important thing here. And when we look at a lot of the atrocities that are happening in the world, yes, they're there. Will they go away completely? I got to tell you, no, they're not. We live on Earth. We live in a place of duality. There's good and bad. There's ugly. There's pretty. There's white. There's black. There's pink. There's purple. There's opposites with everything. And people got to come down and look at those opposites and understand them, and then look within inside our own selves and say, okay, why is this making me feel the way I feel? How can I make the differences and changes I need to make in my life in order that I don't feel that way? And acknowledge it within inside of me. Acknowledge it. When we start to acknowledge that, we start to make a change, then we are able to not be that person who's going to jump down the throat of somebody who's just trying to do their job. And that's the beauty of this energy, is that when you stand in that, and that's because there are a lot of people are feeling low, they're feeling down, and their energies are feeling, crappy. Yeah, I get it. But this is where it's okay. What can I start to do? I can acknowledge that. Now I got to change it. And the other part too, is that when you look at a store, if that's that store's law, it's like no shirts, no shoes, no service, then why are you going against what that store is saying? They have a right to enforce whatever they need to enforce inside their store. You don't like it, don't shop there. That's where it comes in. Then you boycott. You go somewhere else where they're fine. They don't care. And that's how you make changes. You boycott things. It's your consumer. It's your money. And that's the most important part. So we got to stand in this coming back into our balance and knowing what that balance is. And it's a constant day work. It's a constant work. It's looking at things that are happening and understanding what's going on. There's jobs to serve and protect. I felt attacked the day they wanted the proof of my disability. I don't have to show them. They would be like rolling in a wheelchair, and I told, show me proof you're disabled. It could be their policy. I don't know. And I know it's one where you don't want to show anybody. But, with a lot of things that they're trying to implement right now, and that's, which is going to be crazy. So, you guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I got to get going because I have to get down to the store. I will be at Blessed Circle today. And we'll be there till 5 o'clock. And I'm going to send you guys out so much love. Stand in your light. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling and you need to book an appointment, you can go to thegurumama.com. And definitely book a reading. You will see for yourself what I'm saying. Well, yeah, definitely everybody do their research, look into it. Know that there's always two sides to every story. Two sides to every story. And, I'm not saying good, bad, or indifference, right? But have a fabulous day. Love to be the devil's advocate. Blessings, everybody. Bye-bye.